It is indeed time for the weekend, but that doesn't mean the aviation industry stops, and Friday was once more another busy day in Europe and North America, with quite a lot happening. So it's time to take a look at the latest news, with focus on Ryanair, who have put forward some pretty big threats towards Dublin Airport. There's developments over at Aeroflot, route expansions for Etihad Airways and Condor, and additionally a fantastic partnership from British Airways. And that is where we will begin, who have signed a codeshare agreement with leading Indian carrier Indigo. The pair will look to boost connections between the UK and India and thus benefit travelling customers on these respective services that they've outlined. 8 destinations have been made available thanks to the codeshare partnership being signed. These are made possible when travelling from London Heathrow via New Delhi or Mumbai. And on your screens now will be a list of the destinations that are possible via either, as mentioned, Mumbai or New Delhi, and it does include a host of new points too. Comments from the Senior Vice President of Network Planning and Revenue Management at Indigo said, "We are excited to announce our codeshare agreement with British Airways. This partnership expands the choices available to British Airways customers for journeys to and from London Heathrow using Indigo's extensive network in India. This step to provide seamless connectivity will not only support trade and commerce between the two countries, but also offer convenient travel options to students and tourists." Codeshare partnerships are really a fantastic way for companies to look to work together and expand their presence within countries without, say, having to launch their own flight, whether that be due to restrictions regarding available aircraft, personnel, or something else in between. Overall, though, it does benefit customers, with more access to global destinations on a single ticket, really streamlining the overall process for checked baggage and booking. On to the next topic of today, and it centres around Ryanair, which have made some pretty big headlines in the past couple of days, as they will reduce their presence in Dublin over the upcoming winter season, as it looks to move 737 MAX aircraft that are newly delivered elsewhere in Europe. The European low-cost powerhouse will look to cut 17 routes, as it labels launching services to and from other airports to offer them better long-term incentives. Ryanair and Dublin Airport have been since engaged in a bit of a spat that's certainly seen turbulent times. Dublin Airport has, however, denied all of Ryanair's claims, those being claims that were revealed on social media that have said that the increase in passenger charges and a rather general failure to deliver a true environmental incentive scheme has led them no choice but to remove aircraft and routes and seek opportunities elsewhere, which are set to benefit them more substantially. The Dublin Airport Authority, or more commonly just DAA, objects to these claims. They say that the allegations outlined and threats also to remove aircraft and airline are a massive exaggeration over the current situation, going as far as saying that it is working closely with airlines to actually increase the incentives, and Ryanair are straying away from what other carriers are feeling. Ryanair further said that there'd be a 45% increase in cost, which according to what they've provided with us, highlights, yes, a massive increase. However, the DAA rejected this, saying it would actually only increase 6% in 2024. Thus, that's a pretty big drop in what Ryanair had been saying publicly. Interestingly, and really to conclude this part of the video, the DAA has highlighted that Ryanair loves to ignore the facts and get a good story out of the situation instead. This is coming from the chief executive who did actually previously work at Ryanair, just to add a little bit of spice to the situation ongoing. Do you believe this spat is something that can be resolved, given the previously very close ties between the airline and airport? Let me know down below in the comments. Meanwhile, Aeroflot has announced its intention to resume regular services between Moscow and Hong Kong from December 23rd, 2023. The Russian airline, which has been heavily sanctioned and has had to therefore reduce its global network, will operate an Airbus A330 that is configured in a 2-class layout with economy and business class. Aeroflot further notes that the connection is slated to operate thrice weekly, with the aircraft jetting away on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from Moscow Terminal C. Hong Kong is labelled as a hugely crucial Chinese region per Aeroflot, with it being a hub for business. Therefore, with them being able to resume the service, it is something they are more than pleased with in what can only be described as a pretty trying time for the airline that has made headlines more often than not for negative reasons. On to the final two areas for discussion in today's video, and it is related to airline expansions. Probably one of the biggest developments that happens week in, week out in our industry, but provides us with a fantastic overview of just the direction that airlines will be headed. Beginning with Condor, which have announced plans to launch a seasonal non-stop flight from Frankfurt to San Antonio. The route has been labelled as a spectacular win for San Antonio, with it being the first time people from the region can fly to Europe non-stop. It has also been determined that Germany is the most crucial European location for San Antonio, with the largest demand thanks to cultural, historical, tourism, military, and also business ties. Frankfurt is very much emerging as a leading destination for business around the globe, and Condor will look into enhancing its presence with the launch of service from May the 17th, 2024. Condor will deploy its A330-900, which is part of the Neo family on the route, which sports their newly designed striped livery, which has indeed turned heads, and many have yet to really come to a formal verdict on whether they're in favour of it or not. However, one thing you could definitely say is the creativity is applauded, with Condor moving away from the Euro-white designs that we've seen implemented around the region. The A330-900 is configured with 30 seats in business, 64 in premium economy, and lastly 216 in economy class. It is therefore a vital part of Condor's long-term plans and is already being deployed on destinations right around the globe. Lastly, focus shifts to Etihad Airways, that have announced it'll boost its Abu Dhabi to Kuala Lumpur service from the 15th of January 2024. 14 weekly flights will now be from Etihad's hub towards the Malaysian capital. This was all made possible thanks to the announcement of a second daily flight. Etihad Airways will operate on the new service, a Boeing 787-9, which also complements the existing 787-9 operated service that has played a pivotal role in this connection. Etihad Airways will offer customers close to 425,000 seats annually between the two vibrant cities with the double daily service. It equates to a 75% increase in year-on-year capacity. Etihad notes that through the second daily service, there'll be more connectivity towards Southeast Asia from Abu Dhabi, with countless weekly flights into also other popular cities such as Phuket, Singapore, and Jakarta. That's going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, you're more than welcome to leave them down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Stay tuned tomorrow as there's route announcements and also routes being cut from major international airlines. Take care and be safe, and I'll see you then at the exact same time for more coverage.